Hello, everyone. A teenage girl in the prime of her youth, who should have been enjoying this sunshine of her young life, suddenly vanished one early morning. Initially, the police thought she had run away from home, but as time passed, more and more signs indicated that things weren't as simple as they seemed. Could the police find her smoothly? Next, I'll tell you this story. On October 6th, 1995, a Friday, in Eindhoven, a city in the southern Netherlands, the air already had a noticeable chill. Around 5 a.m., with the sky still dark, 15-year-old Nicole van den Hurk hurriedly put on her backpack and pedaled her bike out of the house. She was heading to the Woensel shopping center for her part-time job at a bakery, with the early shift starting at 6 a.m. At that time, Nicole's parents' house was under renovation, so she was temporarily staying at her grandmother's in Tangeler, in Eindhoven. Before leaving, her grandmother reminded her to be careful on the road. Nicole smiled in response and pedaled away, disappearing around the street corner. Discovery of the disappearance and initial search. At 6 a.m. that same day, colleagues at the workplace in Woensel didn't see Nicole arrive. At first, they thought she had something come up suddenly, but after waiting more than an hour, she still didn't show. Around 7:40 a.m., the staff called the police. That afternoon, around 3:30 p.m., Nicole didn't pick up her little sister from school, so her parents also reported her missing. The police took the case and listed it as a missing person investigation. They learned that Nicole had left home early in the morning but never arrived at work. The situation didn't look optimistic. Nicole's father, Ad van den Hurk, rushed home from work. When he met the police, he showed clear worry and unease. He said Nicole was an obedient child, got along well with the family, and wouldn't disappear without reason. He hoped the police would find her no matter what. At that time, surveillance cameras weren't widespread, so the police could only search along Nicole's usual route to work, about 800 meters from her grandmother's house to the Woensel shopping center. They checked section by section. By late afternoon that day, around 6 p.m., various Eindhoven police units coordinated a search and found Nicole's gray women's bicycle half submerged in the Dommel River. Two passers-by reported seeing a girl resembling Nicole biking nearby between 5:10 and 5:25 a.m. Looking at the map, her grandmother's house is here, the Woensel shopping center with the workplace is there, and the Dommel River where the bike was found is in this spot. The three locations are fairly close to each other. The police suspected Nicole had family conflicts, teenage rebellion, didn't want to go to work, so she threw her bike into the river and ran away. But her father, Ad, quickly dismissed this. He said that although his daughter was in puberty, she had never shown rebellious behavior and was an obedient child. The part-time job was her own initiative, no one forced her. She loved the work and was full of enthusiasm, so she wouldn't run away over that. The tragic background of Nicole and her family. Nicole had a rather complicated family background. She was born in Erkelenz, a small town in western Germany, on July 4th, 1980. Her mother, Angelika Techtmeier, gave birth out of wedlock, and no one knew who the biological father was. Angelika always remained silent about it. As a result, the mother and child faced societal criticism and had to move out on their own, leading to a very difficult life. Fortunately, Angelika met Ad van den Hurk, who later became Nicole's stepfather. They formed a new family, and Nicole changed her last name to van den Hurk. Ad had been married before and had a son with his ex-wife, Nicole's stepbrother Andy. He was a reliable man, providing Angelika with a great sense of security. Later, Ad brought his wife and children to settle in Eindhoven. Even though it was a blended family, Ad treated Nicole like his own daughter, fair to all the children. He gave Nicole a stable, warm home, compensating for the fatherly love she lacked as a child. However, happiness didn't last long. Angelica suffered from depression, her condition worsening day by day, becoming moody, often hitting the children for no reason, and distancing herself from her husband. Family relationships hit rock bottom. Angelica realized her mental health issues, but in those days, effective treatment wasn't available, so she isolated herself. Odd didn't abandon his wife. He tried his best to help, caring for the two children and staying by her side to encourage her. But Angelica's illness was too severe and untreated properly, leading to mental collapse. Ultimately, Odd decided to divorce in 1989 because he didn't want the children living in such an atmosphere, even though he still loved his wife. The court granted him custody of Nicole. After the divorce, Odd took the two children to live with his mother, leaving Angelica alone in the old house. Odd was busy with work, often traveling, so he entrusted the children to their grandmother. She loved taking care of them and adored her granddaughter Nicole. During one business trip, Odd met Yolanda, and they got together. Yolanda also loved children and treated Nicole and her brother well, gradually taking on a mother's role. At first, Nicole was wary of her stepmother, but over time she accepted her, and the family lived peacefully. In contrast, Angelica wasn't so lucky. She battled her illness alone. In April 1995, about 6 months before the case, Angelica committed suicide in Tilburg. Nicole was devastated, crying all day, unable to accept the harsh reality. Odd was heartbroken and took extended leave from work to comfort her. Gradually, Nicole improved, but still missed her mother. To forget the pain, she kept herself busy, finding a part-time job outside of school to distract herself. She found work at the Winslow Center, doing a few hours each day, lasting a few weeks until she disappeared. Despite many hardships, Nicole didn't give up. Under her father's care, she excelled in school, was independent and optimistic. Hypotheses and further investigation. The police thought Nicole hadn't gotten over her mother's death. Since she was born in Germany, Ergelenz, about 20 kilometers away, perhaps she had relatives there and might have gone back. But Father Ad said Nicole did have a grandmother in Germany, but she left Germany as a child, had no contact, and didn't know the exact address. Moreover, Nicole was only 15, had never traveled far alone, and had no money, so she couldn't go to Germany. Ad had a bad feeling, thinking his daughter might have encountered something bad, and urged the police to keep searching. Thanks to his persistence, the police didn't stop. Ad also mobilized friends to help. During the investigation, the police questioned Nicole's stepbrother, Andy, 19 years old. He said his sister had a good personality. Even without blood ties, their bond was like real siblings. Before disappearing, Nicole showed no abnormalities. He didn't know why and was very saddened. On October 19th, 13 days after the disappearance, the police found Nicole's backpack in the Eindhoven Canal. Inside were personal items. If she ran away, she wouldn't have discarded them. By then, news of the disappearance had spread, and the public provided hundreds of leads, but most were vague and unhelpful. On October 24th, the police received an anonymous call from a man claiming to know the perpetrator. But when asked for more, he hung up. The police thought it was a prank, as the news was widespread with many fake calls. They broadcast the recording on TV in January 1996, but got no response. They expanded the search but made no progress. Nicole seemed to have evaporated. They reviewed leads, noting the anonymous call. The man's voice was low, like suppressing emotions, with a provocative tone. The call came from a public phone booth. Next, they questioned some troubled teens, as someone saw them hiding in bushes scaring cyclists. But questioning over a dozen yielded nothing. Father Ad went to the station daily for updates. He had lost a lot of weight. To reporters, he said, "If the final outcome is bad, I think I'll collapse." Rumors spread. Nicole was kidnapped and taken out of the Netherlands, or eloped with someone, or committed suicide over her mother's death. The city was shrouded in gloom. Discovery of the body and family tragedy. On November 22, 1995, about 47 days after the disappearance, a man passing through the forest between Mierlo and Lierop, less than 10 kilometers from Nicole's grandmother's house, saw a woman's body on the ground, dead for many days. Police arrived at the scene and confirmed it was Nicole. Her head had clear wounds and her clothes were torn. Forensic results. Nicole had multiple injuries, was sexually assaulted before death. The fatal wound was a stab to the chest, causing internal bleeding, broken jars, head and finger injuries. Time of death was about a month earlier. Father Odd received the news of his daughter's death and was in extreme pain. Though prepared for the worst, he still couldn't accept it. On November 28th, he held the funeral, with about 1,000 people attending, holding flowers to bid farewell to the unfortunate teen. Many strangers also mourned. The investigation continued. Everyone hoped to find the killer quickly, but the police made no progress, and the public angrily criticized their incompetence. Odd lost patience, believing the police weren't serious, questioning unrelated people. In reality, they were powerless, even consulted a psychic, but it didn't help and raised doubts about their professionalism. Wrongful suspicions and halting the investigation. In February 1996, a family friend arrested for drug trafficking claimed a criminal group was involved, but police dismissed it as false info. In May-June 1996, they arrested Father Ad and Brother Andy, but released them for lack of evidence. This sparked public outrage, accusing the police of negligence and scapegoating. Since Nicole's disappearance, father and son Ad had actively sought leads, more than the police, running to media to call for attention. How could they kill Nicole? Under public pressure and no evidence, the police released them. This mistake deadlocked the investigation. Public focus shifted from finding the killer to questioning police abuse of power. The police were exhausted and the investigation stalled. Ad's family was scrutinized by media, digging into their private lives, staking out their home, causing life difficulties. Sometimes they had to draw curtains and stay indoors. When police stopped investigating, Ad and his son were desperate, repeatedly going to the station to request continuation, but to no avail. They felt helpless, tormented daily looking at Nicole's photo. The case stalled. Ad divorced wife Yolanda, perhaps unable to bear losing his daughter, sinking into Greece, distancing from his wife. After divorce, Ad moved alone to Spain. Son Andy moved to England. Over time, Nicole's case faded from public view, becoming an old unsolved cold case. Reopened as a cold case in 2004, but no results. Breaking the case after 16 years, the brothers' sacrifice. In 2011, 16 years after the case, an unexpected turn occurred. On March 8th, brother Andy, living in England, posted on Facebook, "Today I'll be arrested for killing my sister. I've committed the crime. I'll contact everyone soon." Netizens were in an uproar. Some asked why he killed her, some suspected mental issues, some reported to police immediately. Andy was arrested in England and extradited to the Netherlands on March 30th, 2011. Police investigated but found no evidence proving Andy killed Nicole. On April 5th, 2011, they released him. Under questioning, Andy tearfully told the truth. Nicole was his most beloved sister. He only wanted her to live well and wouldn't harm her. He falsely confessed to force the police to reopen the case, as they had completely abandoned it. He knew this could ruin his life, but if it brought justice for his sister, it was worth it. Andy's action shocked Dutch society. Many supported him, demanding the police reinvestigate. Though reluctant, the police did, but remained clueless. After some time with no progress, Andy dropped a bombshell. The real reason for confessing was to make police investigate Father Ad, as he suspected Ad assaulted Nicole, leading to pregnancy, then killed and hid her in the forest. Andy's words were shocking, as Ad's image was always positive. After her death, he ran around seeking the killer. His efforts were visible to all. Forensics had thoroughly checked the body, unlikely to miss pregnancy. To prove it, they had to exhume Nicole's grave for re-examination. This was Andy's plan. He knew his father was innocent, but had to do this to force exhumation. 16 years later, forensic technology had advanced. DNA could detect old traces. In September 2011, police exhumed the grave, transferred the body to the lab for retesting. Results: Nicole wasn't pregnant, but they found DNA from two strange men on the body, sperm and pubic hair, and a male hair on her clothes. This brought new hope. One DNA belonged to Nicole's boyfriend, a classmate. He admitted dating Nicole, having intimate contact before the case, but was scared to confess due to young age. Friends confirmed the relationship. Parents proved his alibi. He was cleared. The other DNA didn't match Ad or Andy. Both were exonerated. There was debate over a vague third DNA trace, possibly contamination or degradation, but the court later dismissed it as not indicating an accomplice. Arresting the perpetrator and the trial. After many years, police targeted a suspicious man, Jose DeG, 46, at arrest in 2014, with a criminal record of sexual violence against women, 3 prior rapes, prison time, and psychiatric treatment. Methods similar to Nicole's case. Victims pulled off bikes, raped at knife point. They took Jose's DNA sample, fully matching the unknown DNA. Mitochondrial analysis confirmed the hair was Jose's. The case linked to a 2000 rape in a nearby area. On January 14, 2014, 19 years after the case, police arrested Jose. For privacy protection, they didn't disclose his full name. News of the arrest spread, public attention on the punishment for Nicole's killer. Jose was arrested but denied, saying he didn't know Nicole, no contact. DNA on the body, he claimed perhaps from consensual contact. Despite denial, evidence was clear. In July 2014, murder charge changed to manslaughter and rape. Trial from November 25, 2015 to November 21, 2016. Jose was charged with manslaughter and other crimes. Court described, on the case morning, Jose wandered the streets after leaving ex-girlfriend's house, saw Nicole biking, attacked, assaulted, and killed her, dumped the body in the forest between Mirlo and Lirop. To cover up, threw bike and backpack into the river. DNA was strong evidence. Jose's defense lawyer, no proof Jose was at the scene, DNA exposed outdoors long, 7 weeks, could be contaminated, not 100% accurate. Also boyfriend's DNA, claiming she had relations with multiple men possibly consensual with Jose. The defense sparked outrage seen as smearing the victim, secondary hard to the family. In court, Jose was arrogant and different. A witness, a fellow psychiatric patient, testified hearing Jose confess killing a teen and dumping in forest. Testimony from the 2000s, disputed possibly for reward. Jose paled, silent. Case deadlocked over DNA dispute. In March 2016, court ordered DNA retest by 5 top experts. Results: sample good, no contamination, matched Jose. They found traces with Jose and boyfriend's DNA, suggesting possible vague other trace from contamination, but not an accomplice. This news pained Nicole's family more. Truth grew hazier. Initial trial November 21st, 2016. Jost not guilty of manslaughter, but guilty of other crimes, rape, 5-year sentence, considering mental illness. Public dissatisfied, light sentence, didn't console Nicole or family. Prosecution appealed November 29th, 2016. From August 28th to October 9th, 2018, appeals court declared Jost guilty of rape and manslaughter, 12-year sentence. On June 16, 2020, Supreme Court upheld 12-year sentence, dismissed third DNA debate. Case ended, but whether there was another accomplice remains a mystery, though court dismissed. Tragic ending, the legacy of pain. After losing his sister, Andy's mental health deteriorated, suffering severe depression. He battled illness while seeking justice for her. In 2021, Andy posted his final message on social media, then committed suicide at age 46. Andy's departure added another heavy stroke to this already tragic story. He never stopped seeking the truth for his sister, even as illness consumed him. Regrettably, justice came too late and incomplete.